Due to the immense size and power of our universe, it's understandable that people are overwhelmed with information, trying to figure out this seemingly gargantuan puzzle. But what if the answers to our questions were a lot closer to home than we think? Right here on Earth, the pieces to our puzzle lie all around us, even inside of us. We are made from the universe, therefore it makes sense that it would behave in a similar manner as we do. The universe is a lot like us. It has the ability to learn, grow, and evolve, just like all the living things on Earth. How, you might ask? Well, there's something that we all share in common with our universe, which governs everything in existence. In the scientific world, we call that phenomenon conscious energy. So what is conscious energy? This question continues to puzzle scientists, mostly due to the fact that conscious energy is highly mobile and invisible in its pure state. It's not a substance which we can physically touch or manipulate like a solid object. Because it doesn't conform to just one state of matter, it seems to many there is no clear way that we can possibly describe it. But obviously this isn't true because, as we know, scientists have succeeded in describing other things that couldn't initially be seen or touched, such as atoms or microbes, for example. Conscious energy is just another big piece of our giant puzzle and helping us to understand our place in the universe. Our entire universe is conscious of varying degrees, although it can't necessarily think without a living nervous system like we can. Much of the universe is formed simply due to chemical reactions caused by the forces between consciousness and energy. To be conscious requires one to be aware of their surroundings, which is true for all living beings, even though they're in various states of awareness. But doesn't that then mean that the smallest unit of matter, the atom, is also aware of its surroundings? An atom has the ability to sense other atoms and bond with them to form a molecule, which evolved to become more complex in the form of compounds. The chain of evolution continues from organic compounds to single-celled organisms, all the way up the scale to multicellular organisms such as humans. On Earth, humans are among the most conscious and energy-efficient organisms, with the ability to explore and create unlike any other creature on our planet. We are continually evolving our conscious energy in order to adapt to the world around us. If we all focus on maintaining balance and harmony, we will begin to see drastic improvements in our lives and the environment that we live in. Although consciousness and energy are two entirely separate forces, they operate together simultaneously during every single event that occurs throughout the cosmos, hence the term conscious energy. Every single event that we see and experience in our lives is the result of consciousness and energy interacting with each other. Our universe is trying to maintain a balance between these two forces. It achieves this by ensuring that there are two balanced sides to every equation. There's an equal and opposite force to almost every term we use to describe the world we live in. Consciousness and energy are polar opposites of each other. Consciousness is the sum of all negatively charged particles, whereas energy is the sum of all positively charged particles. Essentially, I am talking about the opposing forces that exist in all the atoms that make up the universe. Therefore, consciousness is controlled by the negative charge of electrons that orbit outside of the atom's nucleus, and energy is expressed by the positive charge of protons held inside of an atom's nucleus. Consciousness and energy represent the two pillars from which the universe was built upon. They are literally the yin and yang to our existence. Everything that lies between consciousness and energy is what we perceive in the world around us. We call all this stuff matter, which makes it the material dimension of our universe. On their own, consciousness and energy are invisible forces, but as soon as an interaction occurs between them, they become visible. There is a reaction that occurs whenever consciousness and energy combine, which creates an expression due to an atom's neutrons emitting radiation. But it's not just one expression you're sensing. It's a whole network of billions upon billions of expressions happening all at once. Your own body is a complex network of expression created by the tiny atoms which you are made of. The universe created us, and our goal as living organisms is to maintain a positive expression by keeping the atoms of our bodies radiating with positive energy, which will essentially allow us to live long and happy lives. From observing the world that we live in, we begin to see a pattern emerge from the way that conscious energy operates. Our sun, for instance, is the sole energy provider for our whole solar system. It exists at the center of our solar system in order to fuel the orbits of the planets that surround it. The same applies to the atom, where the proton becomes the fuel source of that atom, while its electrons pick up signals from its surroundings. Within our own bodies, energy is stored inside our cells. Our consciousness transfers signals between our internal and external environments and helps guide our bodies into action in accordance to our surroundings. So the general rule to remember is energy functions inside a body of matter, while consciousness functions outside of a body of matter. While some of you might argue that our conscious brains are obviously held inside our bodies, it's actually our consciousness that collects information from the outside world through our senses, and then it relays that information to our cells to inspire the correct response from the body. The bond between consciousness and energy is created by the balanced relationship between them. They communicate using electrical current, they bond with magnetism, and they express their relationship through radiation. Together they create the electromagnetic radiation spectrum. I believe that this spectrum is one of the best ways in which we can measure conscious energy. You see, I have found that it also represents the lifespan of every expression we witness throughout the universe, including our lives and the universe itself. Some lifespans last for billions of years, such as galaxies or solar systems, and others last for only a few moments, such as in atoms and cells. Consciousness resides at the end of this spectrum where there is very little radiation whatsoever. We can see this effect in the darkness of space, where it is extremely cold and dense. Energy, on the other hand, resides at the opposite end of the electromagnetic spectrum. Here the conditions are extremely hot, bright, and bursting with activity due to the intense radiation levels. We can witness these effects from strong energy sources like our own sun. Energy creates motion, which is why many galaxies and solar systems tend to spin. Life cannot exist at either end of this spectrum because the conditions are much too extreme. That's why as soon as we enter the so-called Goldilocks zone of our solar system, we discover this cozy, warm and safe place which holds the perfect conditions for life to thrive. That place lies midway between consciousness and energy within the visible light spectrum. The visible light spectrum consists of 7 colors, which radiate at different levels of frequency. They are known as red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo and violet. Our lives begin at conception and we flow in one direction, from the red side through to the violet side. Each of these 7 colors represents a stage of our human lives, and they're consistent with everyone. I'll discuss these life stages in detail in my next video. Each of us is given a life in a human body, and it's up to the individual to decide how they're going to use this body in their own lifetime. The clock doesn't start ticking only when you're born. Your entire human expression is created by time and space and all of the interactions that occurred between consciousness and energy leading up to your conception. Trillions of events and millions of lives came before you and shaped the world that you live in. These events weren't necessarily planned, although the universe uses a formula through chance and probability to ensure that the story of life goes on. Life is an expression that the universe created to learn and grow from our life experiences. The universe thrives on intelligent living systems, and these systems require balanced, harmonious environments in order to survive. To be alive in a human body makes you incredibly lucky. The balanced, harmonious environment in which you live is intended to make your conscious experience a joy and a blessing. It is here on Earth that we all get the opportunity to explore and create through this wondrous journey that our universe has created for us. Our bodies are the gateways between consciousness and energy, which act like vessels that carry us on our life journeys, collecting memories from our experiences along the way. We are intelligent living organisms who evolved from the universe, which it uses to gain energy from our life experiences. The purpose of life for the universe is simply to provide a conscious experience, to allow it to learn, grow, and evolve through a process of collecting the conscious energy of every life form and recycling it back to the collective consciousness, where it can be used again and again to improve the life of the next generation. So what does that all mean to you, me, and life in general? Well, to be honest, life is what it is. It's as real and as beautiful as what you make it. The key word that you could take from all of this is balance. This is the sole purpose of our universe. You can choose to live from your mind where you spend your time trying to decipher and explain how everything works, just as I have. Or you might choose a more spiritual approach by trying to build and harness your own energy. But if you let go of trying to control everything in your life, you find a sense of calm and balance as your life journey begins to flow more easily. Your journey carries you across the rainbow bridge of life. We are all on this journey together, creating our reality. We shape our reality through the actions we take. It's up to each and every one of us to decide what we want our reality to be, then take the appropriate steps to change it. We can continue down the path of destruction by harming the environment we all live in, or we can choose the road towards harmony and balance, restoring hope and faith in our children's futures. All life is an expression of the universal consciousness. The universe is experiencing life through each and every one of us. We were made from the universe, therefore we are the universe. What's inside of us is also outside of us. Once we all come to understand this, we will find our deep connection with the universe and our place in this world. Please join me in my next video where we'll discuss the 7 life stages that each of us follow across the visible light spectrum, or what I like to call the rainbow bridge of life.